Good morning.
Have you ever been in a situation with your parents where you felt ignored, criticized, and shamed for having very natural and reasonable wants and needs and desires, or dare I even say, shamed for having emotions?
We need emotional content.
It can be a very confusing and painful time for you, as you're constantly being told that who you are naturally as a person, without any labels and attachments that your parents or your family may give to you, is wrong, and it needs to be somehow corrected. Some of the characteristic traits I've described are characteristic traits of narcissistic parents. What is a narcissistic parent? A narcissistic parent is a parent that is more concerned with their own needs and wants as a parent than they are concerned about the actual needs and wants of their own child. A narcissistic parent is more concerned with being a parent as like some sort of job that they have to do that they didn't sign up for, and the child is more like they're privileged. They're lucky to be breathing. They're lucky to be alive. They're lucky to have a roof underneath their heads. When you're a child, you don't know right from wrong. You don't know how to be in the world. The world is a place that is filled with many rules, many situations, many dangers, many, just many things. It's filled with many things that kids do not yet understand. Being a child is one of the most vulnerable places to be in life as a human being in general in the world. Because as a child, you really are taking in all the information, especially when you're a baby. You take in a lot of energetic information when you're a child at first. So like when you're a child, you're taking in the energy of your parents and the people around you, the environment that you're growing up in. All of that to say, like narcissistic parents usually have this disorder. They don't know how to properly take care of their children because their parents could not properly take care of them. Number one, start putting boundaries with your parents and anyone else who is going to come to the defense of your parents. You need to be very hyper aware of how people perceive the people who you're trying to implement boundaries with, right? So, for example, I could see that my mom, no matter how much wrong my dad did, still was so forgiving and so obedient and so subservient. So I had to cut her off immediately. I also saw that my mom did not care about how I felt. She only cared what my dad thought. So I had to cut her off immediately. I saw that people related to my mom did not care how I felt, but only cared that she's my mom. So I had to cut them off immediately. I saw that my friends were perceiving my parents as some magical creatures, like, yeah, you should be lucky that you have your parents. I had to also cut them off immediately. I cut everyone off. I put in boundaries. I cut people off who I knew would not see things the way I am seeing them. So that's step number one. Step number two, keep those boundaries. My mistake was that I kept going back to my mom, trying to see if maybe she changed, and thing is, there's probably still going to be that idea in my mind that does pop up, be like, yeah, but maybe, and in my challenge will always be to be like, no, because I've seen enough evidence to know that my mom ain't gonna change. So you really need to be extreme. Like, you have to be brutally honest about your parents, who they are, and the people who surround them, flocking to them, trying to protect them and their image and baby their feelings, and make sure that they don't feel like bad people. You must cut everyone off and keep those boundaries. It will make you feel like you're a bad person, and that's okay, because you must be a bad person to care about yourself. caring about yourself means being a bad person. There will probably be people who don't like me for this, but I don't believe in codependency. I think codependency it robs the individual of their own identity. It's just like, I believe there's so much more a person can become when they know who they are without anyone else, and not necessarily without anyone else, because how I feel like every person on this planet really only knows who they are because we are all reflections of who we all are and all have been, and people who have lived before and people who are still going to live. Like, the collective consciousness and everything that we are is just a culmination of everything that has already been, right? So it's not to say that we don't need anyone to discover ourselves, but we also don't need anyone to discover ourselves. Like, even if I didn't have the internet and I just had Mother Nature, I would still, I wouldn't die. My head wouldn't explode, I wouldn't get a heart attack. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's really a mind thing. It's really all in our minds. Boundaries will help you be in touch with your emotions, and or they'll help you understand your emotions better and help you to find ways, experiment with ways to self-soothe. Also understand that these boundaries, they take time to really become established, and to really make you feel like, okay, you now have a safe space around you. But the key is to keep them, and not only keep them, but grow them. Okay? Do not underestimate your parents. Do not underestimate your family members. Do not underestimate anyone around you. Okay? Don't trust people. You don't know who people are. We live in a very weird world. People are weird. Okay? We don't know people's intentions. Don't assume people's intentions are good. You do not know people's intentions until they are revealed by their actions. Have boundaries, and you will feel more okay with yourself. You won't feel like you need too much. You won't feel like you need to prove something to your parents and stuff like that, and to people, and even when people, and you'll hear them in the distance, they'll be like, you're this guy, you're this guy, you're this guy. You're my son, he's so wrong. You'll hear them, and you'll hear them on the phone, in the group chats. But if you have your boundaries, you're not going to care, because you're going to constantly remember, even when you feel bad, eventually you'll remember, oh, wait, shit. By the way, I remember why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because people are stuck in trauma that I'm trying to get out of, and they just don't want the trauma to be exposed. And I want it to be exposed, but they don't want it to be exposed. Then it's fine. I'd rather just walk away and heal on my own. If they want to live in trauma, that's their decision. Boundaries also help you to make your own decisions. They help you to rely on yourself. They help you to be more autonomous, more in control of your own life, make your own decisions, because you must make your own decisions. You were given the gift of free will. God gave you the gift of free will. God isn't forcing you to do anything. He's not forcing you to love your mother. He's not forcing you to love your father. He's not forcing you to love anyone. It's your choice. It's all your choice. I think the last thing I want to add is it's really about the ego. It's really about dying to your ego more than anything else. It's not about proving your parents wrong or being more right than anyone else. It's just about recognizing the reality of things. And the reality is everyone is always going to see things differently. And the only thing you can control is how you perceive yourself. Because everyone will always choose their own way to perceive you, and you cannot control that. You can only control how you perceive yourself.
You win.